You'll get off the bus, stand on the yellow footprints. You look at that big door and it says, not every rifleman's a Marine. Every Marine is a rifleman. And there are a few more that are even more exceptional. There's nothing more deadly than a Marine with his rifle. And a Marine sniper platoon is exactly that. We have what is called PIG, professionally instructed gunmen. Usually part of the sniper platoon element. They're trained by hogs, hunters of gunmen. A few were put into this elite platoon. Tyler Vargas-Andrews was one of them. And his story, August 26th of 2021, was one of the worst days in the entire conflict. The Marine Corps sniper program began in 1918, Quantico, Virginia. Very particular on the precision rifles that they use for their sniper program. The first sniper rifle in service was the M1903 with the Winchester A5 scope. Bolt action had an internal magazine of 5 30-06 rounds, originally chambered in 30-03 and later upgraded to .6. The Winchester Model 70 was used towards the end of World War II, the Battle of Korea, as well as early Vietnam. Then one day along came the Remington 700, which is when they began the development of the M40 rifle. Bolt action 7.62-51 fiberglass stocks, A5 scopes used throughout Vietnam, all the way up until the early 2000s. All the variants had different features, such as bipod mounts, as well as threaded barrels.
Gun strikes against Al-Qaeda terrorist training camps and military installations of the Taliban regime in Afghanistan.
The global war on terror was kick-started, starting with Afghanistan. The events that took place between the invasion and the evacuation.
Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda.
In no rush to withdraw, President Trump announces his plan for troops in Afghanistan.
The time beyond military drawdown turned out not to be accurate. Now we believe that about 100 to 200 Americans remain in Afghanistan.
And also expressed regret for the deaths of the 13 Cerberus members who were killed in an ISIS-K suicide bombing at Abu Ghraib.
And the evacuation came at a heavy cost. Sergeant Tyler Vargas-Andrews was one of the Marines serving that day. After nearly 2 decades of a war in Afghanistan, the Taliban swiftly took the country back by August of 2021. On August 15th, 2021, the Taliban had taken back Kabul. Their advance was rapid, and this expedited the United States and NATO to evacuate military personnel. Prior to this, in 2020, Trump had struck a deal ahead of the Taliban to minimize United States military presence, to discontinue doing airstrikes. In return, made it difficult for the Afghan National Defense Forces to secure the government that was in place at the time. And of course, the long-term plan of, after 14 months, having all United States military NATO personnel completely out of Afghanistan, which would have been May of 2021. However, this did not take place.
I requested engagement authority while my team leader was ready on the M110 semi-automatic sniper system. The response, leadership did not have the engagement authority for us. Do not engage. I requested for the battalion commander, Lieutenant Colonel Brad Whited, to come to the tower to see what we did. While we waited for him, psychological operations individuals came to our tower immediately and confirmed the suspect met the suicide bomber description. He eventually arrived and we showed him our evidence, the photos we had of the 2 men. We reassured him of the ease of fire on the suicide bomber. Pointedly, we asked him for engagement authority and permission. We asked him if we could shoot. Our battalion commander said, and I quote, "I don't know," end quote. Myself and my team leader asked very harshly, "Well, who does? Because this is your responsibility, sir." He again replied he did not know, but would find out. We received no update and never got our answer. Eventually, the individual disappeared. To this day, we believe he was a suicide bomber. We made everyone on the ground aware. Operations had briefly halted, but then started again. Plain and simple, we were ignored. Eventually, the individual disappeared. To this day, we believe he was a suicide bomber. We made everyone on the ground aware. Operations had briefly halted, but then started again. Plain and simple, we were ignored. Our expertise was disregarded. No one was held accountable for our safety. About 17:30, Staff Sergeant Darren Hoover, friend and mentor, came to get me from the tower to go help find an Afghan interpreter in the crowd. We found the interpreter and his brother, born with American passports. They told us of 5 family members still in the canal. I stayed there waiting for the family members standing against a 2-foot canal wall. 10 minutes passed. Then a flash and a massive wave of pressure. I'm thrown 12 feet onto the ground, but instantly knew what had happened. I opened my eyes to Marines dead or unconscious lying around me. Vanished in front of me, and my body was catastrophically wounded with 100 to 150 ball bearings now in it. Almost immediately, we started taking fire from the neighborhood, and I saw how injured I was with my right arm, completely shredded and unusable. I saw my lower abdomen soaked in blood. I crawled backwards roughly 7 feet because I thought I was still in harm's way. My body was overwhelmed from the trauma of the blast. My abdomen had been ripped open. Every inch of my exposed body, except for my face, took ball bearings and shrapnel. I tried to get up, but could not. Laying there for a few minutes, I started to lose consciousness. When I heard Chaz, my team leader, screaming my name as he ran to me. His voice calling to me kept me awake. When he got to me, he dragged me to safety and immediately started triaging me, tying tourniquets on my limbs and doing anything he could to stop the bleeding and start plugging wounds with the help of the other Marines. Vanished in front of me, and my body was catastrophically wounded with 100 to 150 ball bearings now in it. Almost immediately, we started taking fire from the neighborhood, and I saw how injured I was with my right arm, completely shredded and unusable. I saw my lower abdomen soaked in blood. I crawled backwards roughly 7 feet because I thought I was still in harm's way. My body was overwhelmed from the trauma of the blast. My abdomen had been ripped open. Every inch of my exposed body, except for my face, took ball bearings and shrapnel. I tried to get up, but could not. Laying there for a few minutes, I started to lose consciousness. When I heard Chaz, my team leader, his voice calling to me kept me awake. When he got to me, he dragged me to safety and immediately started triaging me, tying tourniquets on my limbs and doing anything he could to stop the bleeding and start plugging wounds with the help of the other Marines.
Sergeant Tyler Vargas-Andrews had survived the bomb blast and was evacuated medical. He had lost his right arm and his left leg. He had had over 49 surgeries, removing 150 plus ball bearings lodged into his body, and by the grace of God luck, not one in the face. Andrews, like all Marines, did what he thought was right. He had called out military leadership for how they handled the evacuation and didn't let this stop. He kept moving on in life. He's doing marathons. He owns his own knife company. And he's been on the Sean Ryan Show and multiple podcasts talking about his experience in this horrific day. But he always says, everybody, please remember the 13 who died.